Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be updating the video that I did about a year and a half ago, and this is how to turn Minecraft into Hytale. Now, in case you somehow don't know what Hytale is right now, it's a very Minecraft-inspired game currently being developed by Hypixel Studios, and it looks very promising. We do still have a ways to go until it's released, however, since it's been announced that it won't release until at least 2021, so in the meantime, this is pretty much as close as we can get, honestly. And last time I did these videos, it was for 1.12, and this time I'm doing it for 1.15, so it's pretty much the newest version of the game possible. And honestly, I'm quite happy with the results considering how much more mods are available for 1.12 compared to 1.15. The pack overall is still really nice. And real quick on a side note, I'm doing my third build competition starting today at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and this is hopefully going to be the biggest one yet. There's going to be some pretty awesome builders involved, including Typeface, who has a YouTube channel you should check out because he has some really cool building tutorials, and I'm actually going to make a video on this build competition once it's over, so if you'd like to have your build or yourself possibly make an appearance in the video, then definitely come build something. And anyway, back on the topic of Hytale, I want to make it clear, just like I did last time, that I obviously can't make Minecraft 100% into Hytale, otherwise there'd be no reason for them to even make the game in the first place. I did my best and I think it looks really good, and I hope you guys agree. And anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, the first mod we're going to be installing is Optifine, and yes, I know it's cliche, but it's quite necessary for this entire pack, trust me. And at least currently, we actually have to use Optiforge in order to get Optifine to work with 1.15. It shouldn't be that way in the future, but right now this is simply what you have to do. So make sure you go ahead and download Optiforge, and make sure you have the right version of Minecraft Forge and Optifine installed to make sure this works. Now for the terrain generation, we're going to be installing both Terraforged and Biomes O Plenty. And honestly, in my opinion, this is the only terrain generation that can compete with Biome Bundle. Terraforged will bring you some of the best terrain generation I've seen from a mod, while Biomes O Plenty will bring you a bunch of new biomes and trees and stuff like that. So as you can imagine, when you combine the two, it looks pretty fantastic. For the textures, we're once again going to be installing PureBDcraft. These have a very similar artistic style to Hytale, so naturally I decided to go with them again. I've also installed quite a few add-on packs that you can find on its website, including 3D items, 3D blocks, better leaves, connected textures, and a Biomes O Plenty compatibility patch. For this clip, I also included the 3D ores resource pack, which is actually inspired by Hytale, but personally I'm not actually going to be including it because I just don't think the visuals are worth the performance hit. When I have the 3D ores installed, I notice a pretty significant frame rate drop regardless of where I am in the world, and I just don't think that's worth it whatsoever. So really, it's up to you, but for this video, I'm not actually going to include it. For the shaders this time around, we're going to be installing Sildurs Enhanced Default, and this shader pack will give us pretty much all of the customization options we need to get the visuals even closer to Hytale's. In the time since I last made one of these Hytale videos, the creators have shown that Hytale will actually have some of the same features that you get from shaders, including things such as shadows. And once I had the shader selected, I went ahead and went into its settings and enabled both God Rays and Cross Process. Once you enable the Cross Process setting, it brings the colors of the game far closer to Hytale's. Now, for the next 3 mods, we're going to be focusing on mods that improve the caves, because Hytale's caves look pretty amazing from what we've seen. And the first of these 3 mods will be Young's Better Caves. And this mod just adds a ridiculous amount of variety to the caves in the game. There will be caves that look just like vanilla Minecraft, and then suddenly you'll come across one that's absolutely massive, easily bigger than any other cave you've seen in the game. It just adds a lot more variety to caves and works really well with the next 2 mods we'll be adding. The second of the 3 mods is the Quark mod. And while this mod does add far more content to the game than just cave generation, the cave generation features are what I'm going to be focusing on. Right away you'll notice that the caves have a bunch of stalagmites and stalactites, and there's also several new layers of stone underground. So really, this just gives us some very needed and very much appreciated variety in caves. And now for the last cave specific mod, we will be installing the Sound Filters mod. And this mod adds reverb inside of caves and also dampens sounds that happen to be kind of far away or around a corner or something, and trust me, the sound difference is just night and day when you have this mod installed. It just makes exploring caves feel far more believable. Alright, next, once again we will be installing the Music Player mod. And with this mod installed, you can search for and load pretty much any video from YouTube and play its audio in-game. And right now, there are 9 different songs uploaded on YouTube from the Hytale game, so this gives us a pretty decent amount of music to add to the game. Next up, we'll be installing Valhelsia Structures. And this mod will add some randomly generated structures all over your world. And this includes things like ruins, abandoned houses, and dungeons. And Hytale's going to feature many generated structures, so this is a mod I definitely had to include. After that, we'll be installing Ambient Sounds 3, and while I would prefer to go with dynamic surroundings, that mod sadly isn't updated to 1.15 yet, but Ambient Sounds is still a really good mod. Just be sure to turn its sound setting down to like 20% or something, because otherwise, at least in my opinion, the sounds are far too loud. The next two mods are going to add some more aquatic related content to the game, and the first of which is simply titled Upgrade Aquatic. And this mod is essentially meant to be an upgrade to the Minecraft Aquatic update, and it does a really good job being that. It adds all kinds of new blocks, plants, creatures, everything that's ocean related, and it especially fits into this pack because it adds some pretty terrifying creatures to the ocean, which I'm pretty sure, or at least very hopeful, that Hytale will do the same thing. The second aquatic mod is Aquaculture 2. And this mod doesn't add any new terrifying creatures to the ocean, but it does add a lot of harmless ones. And this will give you even more diversity in the ocean, and you know, you really can't have enough of that. And the mod also adds several new armor types and stuff like that, so it definitely has its uses. One of the last mods we'll be installing is the Blur mod. And this is a pretty simple mod, but its effect just looks wonderful. What it does is makes it so whenever you open a GUI, it'll actually blur the background slightly, and in the clips of Hytale's gameplay we've seen, whenever they open the GUIs, the background actually darkens. And while it isn't the exact same effect, it's still pretty similar. Finally, the last mod we'll be installing today is the classic bars mod, and this replaces Minecraft's standard health and food display with little bar indicators that pretty much do the exact same thing. And from the gameplay I've seen of Hytale, it does look like they do in fact use a bar to display your food, so I decided to go with this mod. And while I don't think Hytale's health and food system works quite the same, I still figured it'd be a nice addition regardless. Also, as a little honorable mention, if you'd like, you can install a BDcraft sound pack, which will give the game a bunch of brand new sound effects. It's really up to you, and you just have to decide if you like it or not. And also, I'm going to take this time real quick to mention two mods that I wish I could have included in this, but I didn't for different reasons. The first of which is the Shoulder Surfing Reloaded mod, which allows you to customize the third-person view of the game, and sadly that mod is not currently compatible with Optifine, which unfortunately meant I just couldn't use it in this video. I'm sure it will be in the future, and when it is, I definitely recommend that mod. And the second is the Create mod, which is still in 1.14. That mod would have probably been one of the main mods I featured in this video, so once it is updated to 1.15, I would absolutely recommend you include it. Now that I've shown you all the mods, I'm going to show you some gameplay, and I'll link my previous Hytale video just so you can compare the two. The old pack is honestly really good too, and better in some of its own ways. Really, you just have to decide what's more important to you. Having a pack with generally more mods available, which is essentially the 1.12 version, or a mod pack on a far more updated version of Minecraft. Alright, that's the end of this video, and let me know what mods you think I missed and should have included on this. I'm sure I missed some that would fit very well into this pack, so I'd definitely like to know. And anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching.